November 15th, 2024, and we are 10 days after the election. And I got to tell you guys, it feels like 5 months, literally 5 months, man. I cannot, like, somebody told me the other day, like, this only happened 9 days ago, right? I'm like, wow, so much has happened in 9 days. Dude, so much has happened in the last month. It's crazy, right?
It's insane.
Yeah.
Everything's moving so quick. Trump's team's moving quick. Bitcoin's moving quick. There's so much breaking news all the time. It is crazy to keep up with. But to your point, yeah, it feels like months have been condensed into just 2 weeks. If even, it's not even 2 weeks.
It is. I mean, let's just review some of the things that have happened in no particular order. And hopefully British is going to join us. He was in England when he agreed to do this. And he, there's a lot going on. So he may or may not be able to show up. Let's see. MicroStrategy was trading under $200. 2 weeks ago. It's at 334 or something. 335 today. Bitcoin was trading at, let's see, Germany dumped 100,000 coins or something. That was 2 months ago at 52 to 55. We're at 88, 89 now. Ran right up against 94. We have Pennsylvania placing a bill into office to put Bitcoin on their strategic reserve. I think you will see, and I've said this before, every energy state, Wyoming, Montana, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Pennsylvania, will all put Bitcoin on its strategic treasury because all of those states have energy that's trapped. Literally, it's just sitting there doing nothing. It never turns into a dollar. That will all happen. Then you have countries doing it now. Least of all, the United States of America is most certainly pushing this agenda now for strategic reserve. I think there's absolutely no way we don't get a strategic reserve because there's no good reason not to. Like, you cannot come up with one good reason not to minimally keep Bitcoin on your balance sheet. And then once you've decided that, you will have a very difficult time saying, well, I've kept it on the balance sheet. I didn't sell it like a Picasso, like I normally would. Keeping it on the balance sheet, and I'm not going to add. You most certainly will add once you hold it. What else is happening? I mean, have we had any bad news? Gensler is on the way out, whether he likes it or not. I hope he embarrasses himself. There's 100 lawsuits against the SEC now?
Well, 18 state attorney generals came together specifically to sue the SEC for like unlawful persecution.
Has that ever happened?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're breaking so many first timers right now. Excuse me. I don't remember any time in history where 18 states sued the government.
Yeah, literally got together and over a specific industry too. Not just suing the government, but over a specific industry. And I heard a while ago that he was actively looking to see if he could get a job at some major firm, and no one wants to touch him. Like, no one, who's going to hire him?
Close, dude. Like, see, it used to be these teams were all so bifurcated and they're insulated from any damage. Now, I think people are going to look at this old administration and go, oh, you were part of that vintage? We want nothing to do with you. It's a loser vintage, man. It is a 20. When I first met you, I said, look, my base thesis here is that everything, I know this is a crazy idea, but I mean, I think it's easier to understand this. Everything in the 20th century shall cease to exist in the future world. It doesn't work. It's literally like taking a stone wheel, 8 million tons. I mean, great, man. That stone wheel that was discovered or built one day, it was awesome for its time. But imagine sticking that in on the Miami freeway or the LA freeway. It's not going to work. Okay. Your spreadsheets are not going to work in this new world. I mean, I'll give you an example. I own a company right now. I'm going to be very careful how I say this because this is a very active deal. But I own a good chunk of a company that's doing an audit in the crypto field. And when we presented it to the government, like I haven't really published this much, but Node 40 actually does a lot of work to help the government think about how they're going to do this. We help write the treasury docs, or at least shape them. And when you present one analytical or analysis of a very, very single person, large trader, once we did the report and we presented it to the government, we were like, this is going to take you 3 years to digest all this information because you don't have the tools. So what we were able to do in less than a month will take the other side 3 years to do. And at this point now, we have to start really sitting down with some of the change agents in the government that have been appointed and explain to them, look, the U.S. government does not need to waste more money. And you will always be wasting money if you're using tools from the 20th century to handle shit in the 21st century. It's just really simple, right? When you think about, hey, this is just it. None of this sits on a spreadsheet. I know Excel was awesome at one time, but it ain't now. It's just too much data. So if you the world, wow, it's just like you said, wow, man, everything's changing so fast, right? Well, the old tools, for instance, I have 2 Range Rovers. I have a Range Rover that's 6 years old and a Range Rover that's, I don't know, a year old. Dude, they're completely different vehicles. The turning radius on the most modern one is like, I don't even need to drive the thing mostly, right? And then you try to get into one of the older vintages, like you have to be a better driver for the old car. It's bizarre. So I just think this is all happening at one time, and this is the way change occurs. It occurs all at one time, man. Slowly, then all at one time. That's what that means.
So how do you prepare for the all at one time? Like, how do you really capture when everything's changing so quickly?
Well, I think you have to be a bit. I think the guys that have been here 15 years had a lot of opportunities, but quite frankly, I think the people that are here right now have better opportunity to make more money and to retain it, to learn more, to build a better reputation. I continue to say, in fact, I had 5,000 people on a show this morning on this big finance show that I've been doing at 8 o'clock in the morning. David Tawali, who is not an aggressive investor. I mean, he's but he's not crazy. He's probably just a slight tad less bullish than I am on Bitcoin. The point we were trying to make at $88,000, there's never been a cheaper time to invest in Bitcoin. If you look at the number, you'll go, oh, wow, I could have done it at 22. Yeah, at 22, they had so much risk. It was stupid. At 17, at 200, I have friends that own Bitcoin at $300 and they are buying Bitcoin today. I just had lunch with Michael Saylor for 2.5, 3 hours. He is most certainly still buying Bitcoin. He is proud to buy the tops. His last purchase was at 70, man. The ETFs are coming in at 80. So the new money coming in, they're not buying 22s and 30s and 57s. What the fuck are y'all thinking about, dude? They're buying the market. They're buying the market. Show me an offer, I'll take it. Show me another offer, I'll take that one. This is you walk away from this one, and you're going to walk away from $30,000 or $40,000 worth of premium. You can't possibly have. Look, I took a helicopter over here. Okay, I don't know what that helicopter cost from Miami yesterday. the amount of planes that are sitting in Opelika are absolutely staggering. The amount of wealth, people don't really fully appreciate the amount of wealth on this planet. And you have to ask yourself, who is in this industry? Hardly anyone has come in here. We live in this little ecosphere, this little echo chamber. Oh, look at all this volume. We do have a lot of data, most certainly. I'm not sure that the industry knows how to digest all this information. They pop from Pepe to, hey, look at the inflows from Bitwise. Look at the inflows to Fidelity. These inflows are staggering. They're not marginal, okay? They're humongous. They're 900 a day, $900 million a day popping into this thing. No one, not a human being, not the ETF providers, not BlackRock, assume the volume would be this significant. And who would listen? I actually bitched in Nashville when we were there. I told the guys, like, hey, we're asking Trump for too much, dude. Like, why are you going to bring the reserve in and Cindy Loomis is there? Let's go for it all, man. I love her now. Like, I have been Cindy Loomis. If you need anything from me, dude, Sam's got my phone number. I was getting ready to just give you my phone number on here, but like, seriously, pick the freaking phone up at 2:00 in the morning. I will make my jet available, go the extra mile for you. See, these are champions, dude. I love people like this, that she is fully committed to making this happen. She has a goal. She is not going to surrender her goal. You guys want to learn something about how somebody actually visions and imagines a world and then does not let anyone defray them from that mission? Senator, right?
Yeah, Senator Lummis.
Pardon me for my lack of political understanding. Okay, it's my ignorance. But Senator Cynthia Loomis, if you guys aren't following her, you should follow her. If you haven't given her $10, you send her $10. Seriously, okay? These people don't, like, we're not going to get change for free, okay? You have big pharma's getting ready to fucking freak out, okay? They just lost 15% of their stock value overnight, okay? They are the largest, the food and pharma is the largest groups of people that are going to hurt us. They've been hurting us, and they're going to attack Robert J. Kennedy. Robert Kennedy is going to get absolutely slaughtered. Kennedy could be assassinated. Make no mistake about it. At this point, the health industry is probably going, fuck, man, nuclear war is not even a problem compared to what just happened to us. Not a clue, dude. Like, I was in my brother's pantry yesterday. They're very, very health conscious people. And the amount of like he doesn't have any of the candy stuff. The price of some of this stuff is ridiculous to buy decent food.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, right? We've been poisoning our children, man. Like, there's a reason there's so many fat, obese people in this country. I just got to say it, okay? Now, I'm not one of them, but I lived in England for 10 years. And when I came back from England, I would get nauseated watching people eat in restaurants. Literally want to walk out. And I started this rule because the meals in Europe are really small. And everyone, and by the way, people over there, they drink milk, they drink alcohol, they smoke cigarettes, and they're healthier than we are. They eat really rich food, but they do not stick 10,000 calories in their body in one sitting. I mean, it's disgusting. Like, our plates are this big, their plates are smaller. So I did a little hack because, you know, I like these little cheap tricks. When I come back to the United States, I never, literally will not finish my entire meal. Now, what does that do? It basically, people are going, oh, well, people are starving. Well, they already made the meal for me. That's sunk. Doesn't mean I have to eat it, dude. Just because it's on the plate, I didn't ask for that much food. So I don't have to stick it in my face. I started going with my kids, like, I just order, hey, we ordered 2 meals instead of 3. Because they're not going to eat all theirs anyway. But like this little hack, and what happened was, guess what? Over time, like, you see me hard. I mean, I eat, I'm healthy, but I'm not gorging ever, man. I'm never, I can't move. But it's because my meals are tiny now. My stomach's tiny, and I don't get the bloating everybody talks about. Like, dude, if you're getting bloated, it's like, I might want to quit eating so much food. Oh, I'm lactose intolerant. It's like, bro, you probably got too much volume. I mean, our stomachs are this big, right? Max. And we smash that. Anyway, I don't want to get into the food thing, but we are most certainly, dude. What don't we have? We have the entire military industrial complex is being rewritten. NATO is falling apart by the moment. The European Union is, I think, completely screwed. Germany's broke. Turkey's probably looking around going, shit, I need to do something. I think we have 5 countries, big countries, that are looking at Bitcoin as strategic reserve. I made this comment to Grant 2 days ago. See, they're still not getting it. Grant saw Germany sell Bitcoin. I said, yeah, dude, there's a reason they sell Bitcoin. They can't make their own money. And you can see, he looks at it, he doesn't my brother's a really smart guy, and this is why I'm so excited about using him as a test case, because I think he is the public that has been missed from Bitcoin because he was mismarketed. He was mispromoted to. There's so many people walking around with a gross misunderstanding of Bitcoin. Now we have to wash that. Sorry, I've been working on. This is what you get when you paint and play with pencils all day long. That's really bad. But he didn't really, he hasn't really gotten it yet, right? Because people made fun of Germany for selling. Germany had no choice. Anybody that said they were stupid, you're missing the point. They had to sell it, dude. They have no money to buy it with, right? They can't make their euros. Those euros are already allocated for something else. We don't have to do that. And then you start to think, well, why don't we have to do that? Because we have the ability to print money. Now, who else wouldn't have to do that? Iraq prints some of its own money, but the other guys are going to be people that are sovereigns that are long energy and they're not moving at all. They too will put it on their strategic reserve. And that is exactly why Pennsylvania, Montana, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and Wyoming, most certainly in the next 3 months, will do the exact same bill Cindy Loomis put out. And by the way, it's a copy and paste. She set this thing up where the government's, Cindy Loomis, you are, in my opinion, the greatest political player I have seen in years, and most certainly the greatest political player for the Bitcoin community. You should be given 100 Bitcoin by us, okay? Like, seriously, we should shower this lady in Satoshis. See, this is the kind of person, I would love her to get rich. This is the difference between Warren and her. This lady should get a piece of the action, man. I mean, what's wrong with that, right? Hey, if it goes up, she is rewarded. Why? Because everybody wins. The Bitcoin community wins. The government wins. This is the way, like, imagine putting people in office 3 or 4 years. Hey, man, you get a piece of the action. If you improve it, you get a piece of the action. If you cut costs, you get a piece of the action. If you improve income and GDP, you get a piece of the action.
Running like
no
a business.
Country on the planet, bro, could put up. No country on the planet could compete with that compensation program. So I'm going to just tell you guys, if any of you guys have made like a 20, 30, 50, 100,000, 10,000% return, and you haven't given any money, Cindy Loomis or Dennis Porter or Sam, you can name some other guys. I'm not trying to pick winners and losers. I've given nothing to Loomis. I most certainly will. I would rather give her my energy because it's easier for me to give money. But I just really want to take my hat off to Loomis. And if you guys are smart, every time you do something that's positive on X or YouTube or whatever about crypto, I'm going to say something here to you that is going to stick a little bit in your throat. You ain't going to like it. Donald Trump, Cynthia Loomis, Howard Lutnick, the vet, Vance, and the rest of them. If you've never given money to a political force or an agenda, you are absolutely stupid at this point. Okay. I have a seat at the table because no one is teasing me over the 12.8 Bitcoin I gave at 65,000. I'm $20,000 deep in the loss now. Who's going to shame me for the platform we have today? There's $25 million that was raised on the Nashville event that got Trump's attention in a big way. He's like, whoa, you guys. And then Howard Lutnick, myself, the Winklevoss brothers, every miner's there. You got senators, you got Senator Loomis there. Like, the guy needs some admiration for what we're doing. Okay. People like my brother and Sailor, dude, we like to be, hey man, good job, dude. You don't think we don't want to hear that? Admiration is a monster freaking bonus. So I need you guys to pump out, even if Anthony Scaramucci's even doing it. Hey man, I don't like the guy, but we're winning. Okay, cool. So say something nice about Loomis. Say something about Trump. If you don't like Trump's red hair, cool. Say something about Loomis. If you can't say something about Loomis, say something about Howard. We are getting a tailwind here. Why would you want to cut it off, dude? I'm going to flame it. I mean, give them some love, man. Give them some love. Don't be stupid here, okay? Like, let's think about what we're doing. We have the best marketing and promotion team in the history of mankind. We were good enough to dude, we should only be having Sailor here. Instead, we have Sailor in the entire future administration of the United States government behind us. If I was in another country, I'd be terrified right now, dude. I'd be jumping all over Bitcoin.
Yeah, because we're going to grab it all.
Well, bro, come on, man. Like, if you're a citizen in Greece, like, it ain't going to take you very long, bro, to go, what the fuck? This is my point. You know, I made this comment about earlier this morning. 6,000 people agreed with me. Hey, the entry point to Bitcoin today is cheaper than it's ever been, risk adjusted. Risk adjusted. What does that mean? Risk of losing it all, risk of regulatory interference, risk of time. The swing we're going to get right now is going to be bigger relative to the time. They got people that have been around here, man, for this much time. You literally been here this much time. You're going to make a shitload of money in a very contracted period of time. Even though Simon's going to make a lot more numbers than you, relative to what you stuck in, relative to energy, money, or time, or education, dude, your return is so safeguarded. I mean, I just bought another close to $1 million worth of Bitcoin at these levels, dude. Didn't even think about it. Okay. Now I'm having to do it in a bunch of bizarre ways. I wouldn't say bizarre ways. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I am actually being able to access now many more avenues of the Bitcoin industry without being in one sole lane. I can actually access it through a number of different pipes. Now, what does that mean? 2 years ago, dude, I have my banks now calling me up going, hey man, can we convince you to move your, large Bitcoin holding into an ETF so we can give you another $40, $50 million worth of buying?
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. And I'm like, you know what I said? Probably not, dude. I ain't paying the taxes. Because I think I'm going to be able to do this in the next 60 days without the bank. When I can do this without the bank, and I suspect the bank's listening to me, I probably won't be their customer.
Yeah, because I guess what else would you need them for, huh?
Well, the thing is, dude, what happens when 1,000 of us do this, or 10,000?
It spirals.
This is, 3 weeks ago, nobody thought the pharmaceutical companies would have a 15% down day. Didn't even think about it, dude. This can most certainly happen to finance, to banking. Like they're just not giving me anything. See, this is the problem. And once they figure out, oh wow, we're not equipped, we can't even communicate to Gary. I mean, I called the bank up today. I said, hey man, give me the bid offer on MicroStrategy 390 December 27 call option. He looked at the price, misquoted it 3 times because he couldn't believe it. Then he called me back and said, hey, I gave you the wrong quotes, man. This is the right quote. Now, it was pre-market, but if I would have called somebody at Cantor's digital division or Gemini, they'd have been, hey, man, maybe you want to buy the 370 instead of 390. You can save $1. It's just going to take them how many schools are they going to have to go to before they can communicate to a guy like British Hodl or a guy like Michael Saylor or a guy like Grant Cardone? See, Grant's the more difficult guy to communicate with, quite frankly, because you got to get through all the stuff he thinks he believes in, right? Or the things he thinks he knows about Bitcoin. Quite frankly, Grant's biggest issue, and he will tell you this, and so will Michael. I mean, we literally all just like, Grant's like, hey, there's just, and I actually said this, I said, Michael, I brought Grant over here because he's had to listen to so many idiots. And Grant was like, dude, the idiots in this industry. And Michael's just like, oh my God. But see, that's the opportunity. See, I see that as the opportunity. Is that's still going on. That means it's still discounted. Right? It's still discounted, man.
Was that Grant's first time meeting Saylor and being inundated kind of in the Bitcoin world?
Dude, he's been trying to get into Saylor for 2 years for his conferences. You know, it's not easy to get into these people, dude.
Yeah.
Like these, you know, he doesn't want to just go. So he'll probably be speaking. And one of Grant's think, dude, this hook is set so deep. I mean, it truly is and I'm not trying to like brag on myself, but like this was a great accomplishment by me. It took me 90 days. I told you when I was going to start working on them. And I just started pounding, dude. You saw I started going. I'd make a couple of trips to Miami. I go peek in on them. So you got to handle these people really carefully. Not carefully, but strategically. I started listening to how he was responding on spaces, going, okay, air up, miss. And then watch the other people. They don't pick up on it. But this is what I was thinking yesterday. If you have a high value target and you're their friend or their brother, first off, understand you're probably not the best person to pitch them. Secondly, I knew that I was very close to Grant getting, okay, I got it. Then I knew I'm going to bring a third party into the equation, and I'm going to lock him down so tight he can't move. Now, what do I have to have for that third party? Because I know family members, and especially my brother, and I think this is true of all family members, we initiate a view or an image of our siblings and people we know well. Grant has always thought that I was extremely accept a lot of risk. I think some of that is because, which is maybe most certainly I've accepted a lot more risk than he has, but I don't think I've been a huge risk taker. I've blown a lot of money. I've had a lot of fun. So I don't really regret that. And I've learned a lot, but you know, he's going to look at my positions and always go, yeah, but he's crazy. And then he goes and sits down with a guy, Saylor, and he sees, whoa, this cat makes my brother look passive. This cat, like when he looks at you and he tells you what he's doing, dude, it is, I am doing this, dude. It is like looking in Jesus's eyes. That really is a compelling thing for Grant. See, it's not the data. It's I'm getting too many people that are very, very, very convicted, and they are smarter than me in many, many areas. There's just things that are going on around Bitcoin related to arbitrage. The exact comment I was making about, hey, once the custody is in place, I'm probably going to move my accounts. That's a monster arbitrage, man. See, these big gaps by arbitrage. I mean, Bitcoin sitting here, this ultimate option. I've said this for so long. I think it is the ultimate call option. In fact, it's both a call option and a put option, but I won't get into that because it's really kind of complicated. But it's a call option is hey, I get to buy something in the future at today's price without a big monster premium, right? So let's think about, oh, wow, I have the right to buy all your hours. Sam, imagine me being able to grab 8,760 hours of your life in 5 years. What's that worth? I think you're going to be a congressman or a senator one day. That has to be worth a lot of money, dude. I give you 10 grand for 8,760 hours of your life in 5 years. You would never sell that, right?
Yeah.
You'd be like, fuck, I don't need 10 grand that bad. That's the premium. And then for the next 5 years, I get to call you up and go, hey, I want my 8,760 hours now. That's a call option. Well, everyone would buy that. Who wants to buy 10 hours of me in the next 5 years? So, like, there's a price you pay for that, right? Well, that's the same thing that's going on here. Bitcoin is, and the more banks come into this, the more banks are going to then create the tools that guys like me are used to having. And these tools are going to be better than the legacy tools because the legacy tools have been built on really old plumbing, dude. Okay. The best example is the silver that I just sold. Now I sold that silver. You wanted me to bring this up. I sold 23,700 ounces of silver. We started this. How long have you been with me?
March.
Yeah. So we started this, what? You begged me to do it 3 months into it. Then 6 months later, I went, okay, let's do it. Let's move this shit. I moved all the gold. And then you moved all the silver in one day. And you were like, wow, bro.
Yeah, I didn't realize what 23,000 ounces was until I had to load it into your truck. I was like,
yeah, divide that by 16, right? It's like how many hundreds of pounds was it? It was a lot of weight.
Oh, yeah, I don't even remember, but it was a lot.
That was pre-election, correct? I sold this 2 days before the election at 33.8, I think.
It was almost 1,500 pounds.
This now is at least 10 days later, 5 emails I had to send the guy. Hey, man, where's the money, dude? Well, Gary, we don't have your right account. Yeah, you did it. Like I did the goal. And he said, no, you got to have, this is in the name of Gary Cardone Solutions and Technology. I said, yeah, it's company owned, dude. I own all it. Yeah, but we can't. 3 days went by. I called the bank. You have an account under Cardone Solutions, dude. Here it is. Had to give them all that data, even though they had the data before. Because I bought gold and I sold gold to them. They gave me the money. Nonetheless, here it is. 10, 11 days later, I'm going to get the money, less $70 for wire fees. And let's see, that's $850,000. Silver's falling and Bitcoin's going up $10,000. I lost a fucking Bitcoin out of this, man. Okay. I lost a Bitcoin. I could have bought 11 Bitcoin. Now I can only buy 10. You see, that's a fucking problem, man. So, and why would the banks want to lose, or why would my silver guy want to lose? Look, if he's making 3% on the money, he made $2,400.
Yeah.
For doing nothing, dude, for just delaying the phone calls, right? That may be my last large legacy deal. I don't see myself doing any of this stuff anymore. It's just too much work. Plus, I had to have them come here with security. If you guys go watch that video again, you will see how problematic this shit is. And this is why I think gold and silver and why I got confident in selling it. One, I thought Trump was going to win. We won't have war. If we don't have war, silver and gold will just do what they're doing. They'll replace inflation maybe. And when you start thinking about buying $1 billion worth of new reserves for your country, I don't think you're going to do it in gold. I think they're going to, once they do one in Bitcoin, they're going to be like, whoa, this is simple. No shipping, no logistics, no waiting, no insurance, no wait, no audits necessary that require people going to a site.
When are you going to put that silver into Bitcoin? And are you going to just smash it?
As soon as, well, this is the other thing I'm doing. Man, so much stuff. So I partnered with someone that has built a algorithmic trading system, and I initiated it yesterday. I'm not really telling anybody about it until, I'm not telling them who the name is or what I'm doing. I initiated a smash buy yesterday. So I'm actually doing this in a totally separate account. I set up another exchange account, somebody I've been wanting to do business with anyway, who's very pro-Trump. If you're pro-American, pro-Trump, I will most certainly move my business to you, okay? Like, I'm that guy. If you're my bank and you're fighting my political, I will move my money. Most certainly. If you think that Robert Kennedy is a bad decision for our country, which I'm starting to see some really large players go, hey, this guy's ridiculous. You know what? Neocons, dude. Every one of them are bad people. Do not talk to me about Kennedy being crazy. Let's talk about Fauci being fucking crazy and you being crazy for listening to that guy. Okay, and not calling him out right now. If you're not calling out Fauci, you're a criminal. Okay, this is not cool. Okay, I ain't voting for you. I'm not supporting you. I will not give you $1. If you tell me that you like Fauci or you hate Kennedy, I'm moving my dollars, dude. I'm going to give all these people another chance. I'm going to give them the chance they've never had, actually. And they can screw me. They can't possibly screw me any worse than the rest of the people who've been screwing us for the last 12 years. Come on. Knock it off. Scaramucci, knock it off. Give the guy a chance, man. It's not one person. It's a whole group of people. You cannot support. I can't support these people supporting creatures, man. There's nothing Big Pharma has done for this country. Not one thing. In the last 30 years, I'll give you $1,000 if you can tell me one thing the Big Pharma has done for this planet in the last 6, 12, 15 years. Nothing. They're parasites. So I'm most certainly, anyway, so what I did was I smash bought $5,000 worth of Bitcoin. And then I put $100,000 into this algo. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to compare Gary's smash buy 88 yesterday to $100,000 being bought every 4 hours over the next 15 days. So imagine this whole DCA thing. See, I love DCA. The problem is with DCA, one, it's not sexy. People that are trading big volumes want to, like my brother wants to make a decision. Now, I will convince him this is a better tool once I see it work. So I can literally go in there. I do this myself. No one's managing it. Now, this also gets rid of advisors, dude. Okay. Like if you're paying people a bunch of money to do something, now I'm starting to obtain tools that professional traders have. So I have let's say I have $100,000 sitting in this account. I've decided, hey, I don't want to wait till the end of November. I don't want to wait till December to buy this. So I do want to do a smash buy, right? I do want to do a smash buy, but I don't want to do it at one time. I want to do it I said, look, every 4 hours, $100,000. I want to be done by November the 30th. Plug that in. Okay, we're going to execute $544 every 4 hours for you. Bang, bang, every 4 hours, dude, until that 100 grand is exhausted. And I'm going to be able to compare my cost there to my smash buy. Okay. Now, even if it's higher, I think what you're going to see over time, I won't always be able to pick the lowest smash buys. I'll pick some that, I picked some at six. When I sold my house down the street for $2.5 million, I smashed it in a Bitcoin at 66 and it went to 57. You didn't see me getting worried. Now it's at 88, man. 4 months later, I have made $1 million on that house that I was never going to make. Okay. I bought that house for $1.7 million.
Wow.
I held it for 3 years. Had to go there weekly to look at the alarm system. Fucking drove me nuts, dude. And you know I hate doing this shit, right? The plumber wants to tell me how to do the plumbing. I'm like, bro, I'm a Bitcoin trader. I ain't never going to trade plumbing. So just fix the motherfucker and send me an invoice. I sold that damn thing, took a $250,000 discount. Then watch my Bitcoin go from 66 to 57. Now it's 88. I broke even on it in the first place after 3 years. And now it's worth, I literally think I've made $1 million on that trade. 3 months ago. I held the damn house for 3 years, bro. Paid mortgage, didn't have insurance. Like I didn't insure it because I'm not paying that much insurance for this house. And now it's over 90 grand. Okay, we're smoking. Picture me rolling. Picture me rolling, dude. That should be Bitcoin's theme song. Tupac. Picture me rolling. Anyway, if you guys are on the sidelines here, okay, you're making a huge mistake. That is financial advice. Okay, I'm sure I'm going to get sued one day, but like it would be stupid not to be a part of this, even for a small little chunk. Start playing and understanding. I can't. Like it's so important to me. Like, well, I won't go into that, but I just think, man, there is no one in this industry, not Mark Yusko, not Mike Saylor, not Satoshi Nakamoto, believe that we would be here in 2024 when there isn't anything else they can announce, dude. There is not one thing other than, oh my God, we found Bitcoin on Mars. There isn't any more news to come out. Like, what do we need? Oh, Russia's accelerated their program. Iraq, Saudi Arabia. No shit, Sherlock. It's simply a matter of when they're going to make that announcement and whether they choose to or not. I personally, if I was Trump, I would calm down all the noise on this. See, in Nashville, I was like, hey, why don't we just keep the 140 and not talk about the reserve? Why don't we do the reserve in quiet? Now, it's helped my bags, but quite frankly, if I was in the government, I wouldn't be announcing this heavy. I would be like, hey, let's chill out, dude. We don't need to let everybody know what we're getting ready to do. Because see, we have a big bag to buy. They start buying bags and we won't even notice it, but if 10 of them do it, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be unnecessarily expensive. So if you're thinking about it from the book of the America, that book has to say, hey, man, buy it as cheap as you can. Gary, Cardone, British Hodl, and you're like, hey, why don't you guys come in next year and really drive the bags? What's up, my man? You came at a perfect time. Thanks for joining us.
That's good.
Want to know about what you're seeing? Yeah, you're perfect. And then love to hear about your trip to England, man. I think it's
which I will. Gary, just as an aside, though, you do have to leave in 15 minutes for your 1 p.m. call.
Okay, awesome.
Listen, let me just take 10 seconds to apologize.
He only needs 3 or 4 minutes to make a point, so he's good. No, you don't need to apologize, dude. There's a lot of shit.
No, I do. I was completely. I just landed yesterday, and my whole schedule was all over the place. So I apologize.
I've been there, buddy. No problem.
So
I was 2 minutes late for. I was 2 minutes late for Sailor's lunch, and I'm looking at Grant going, "You motherfucker, dude! You know I hate being late, man." He's like, "I hate being late too." But no problem, dude.
It happens. So, what are you guys talking about? What do you want to talk about?
Well, Why don't we talk about MicroStrategy? Because that's something. Well, first off, let's talk about England in a couple of minutes. Because you're from England, you just went there for something urgent, came back. I think you're getting less and less excited about what the political team over there is doing with that country. I'm disgusted with it. Give me an update, because I lived there for so long, 14 years, and
Yeah.
I love England, man. I love English people. They need to start voicing. They went too quiet, man.
Yeah, look, the United Kingdom's going through something that's, in my honest opinion, after going there infrequently, which allows you time to see which direction things are moving in, England is going through something that's quite malicious, in my opinion, right? We've got a government that doesn't seem to care about its people, a populace that seems to be more and more brainwashed every time I go there. I went there this time. The thing that disgusted me, I was only there for 7 days. It was an urgent family thing. And, you speak to business owners whose businesses have not grown in 10 years, right? And even if they have grown, they've not kept up with real inflation for 10 years. And all they're complaining about is Trump got elected and he's going to fuck things up in America and this, that, and the other. And I find myself being more and more allergic to the mindset that I'm seeing in the United Kingdom. And unfortunately, with the parliamentary system that we have, it's harder and harder to turn around, right? Which makes me wonder whether this is done, for a very long time, if not forever. And it's quite concerning. It's quite concerning because I love the United Kingdom. My dad was, immigrated to the United Kingdom after being threatened to be killed in Uganda when Idi Amin took over. And the United Kingdom gave me all of my opportunities and everything that I've ever worked for. That was from the United Kingdom. And I love the UK and I love London. And I know the fact that there's 9,500 millionaires leaving the United Kingdom this year.
Wow.
90% of them would go back if the UK got its shit together. That's what's heartbreaking. That's what makes it feel malicious. Because it's like all these people would go back. All these capital creators would go back. And unfortunately, we voted for the Labour Party now after 14 years of Tory bullshit. And what the first thing they did, they started taxing capital creators. I don't know how you go back from what's going on here. You go.
I think it's the point of no return. I don't think it's recoverable.
Yeah.
I asked somebody the other day from Canada. I said, British. I said, hey, there's England and then there's Canada. Who do you think's degraded in the last 10 years more? And who's actually able to get out of their bad policies in the next 4 years? And he's like, I think we are probably just behind England. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Canada, and it has energy, right? It has energy and proximity to America, so it could turn around, but I don't think it does either.
No, I don't think it does either. But here's the thing, though. America is incentivized to turn Canada around. Right?
Correct.
It's on the border. So worst case scenario, there'll be something going on that forces Canada to turn around. Same thing with Mexico and everything else, because it's dependent on the security of the United States. England is becoming more and more irrelevant. One of the things I said to you on Twitter Spaces once, which was most people don't realize that as a British citizen, after voting for Brexit, I cannot buy an American ETF. I cannot do it unless the American ETF is relisted in a package in a European market. I cannot do it. These are EU MiFID rules, right? And that's it. There's a reason. There's a reason why this is all going on, and it feels malicious. The reason is very simple, right? They want you to pay the 1.5% to the EU fund manager that's going to turn around and pay the 20 basis points to the American fund managers, and that's how they're going to control capital inside of EU markets. This is all very, very malicious at this point, considering it's been 8 years since we voted for Brexit, and these rules are still in place. I thought about it. I was sitting in an Uber ride, like on one of my days there, and I was like, it would take maybe 4 or 5 decisions to turn the United Kingdom around and turn it into a powerhouse. 4 or 5 decisions. We've got all the plumbing for it. We are a financial powerhouse of a center. 4 or 5 decisions to turn this thing around, and no one's willing to take it. It's a shit show.
The city should run all the crypto around the world, dude. Like, I thought you guys were going to get there. You understand this so much better than most people. I mean, the way you treat the spread betting, I thought you guys would grab it. It's your only last thing that you offer the world, which is Canary Wharf. And I don't mean to say that, dude, it's important.
HSBC left Canary Wharf. It's going into the city now. Canary Wharf is finished, right?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they're going into the city now, right? Because that's where it is. Look, ultimately, if capital cannot flow easily, the capital allocators will leave, and that's what's happening right now in London, and it's heartbreaking. And I'm saying that as someone that loves the UK. Yeah. I'm saying that I didn't leave the UK because of the shitty weather, right? That's not why I left. I left the UK because I saw the direction that it was going down. I'll put up with the shitty weather if we can get the UK cranking again, like America seems to be at this point after this election. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I think it was. In fact, you were kidding me about the 12 Bitcoin I gave Trump, and I understand the kid. I mean, I do. When I gave it, I was like, man, I'm giving $30-40 million away here. I think it was a good investment. Nobody's kidding me about it now. I think that the timing was right. It got his attention, along with the other 20 million, 25 million that came in. We have a seat at the table, dude. For me, it was a great insurance policy.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. Look at the state you're in as well. Look how influential Florida is now. Like that was a great point that was being said the other day on Spaces too.
Dude, Florida, Matt Gaetz, this guy, Florida is the great winner from this move. It is stunning how many Floridians, senators, congressmen are getting positions. Real quick, let's move because I've got a call. I can't move. I've got this little Jackson BTC. British, what is your opinion on selling covered calls for income on micro strategy stock? Now, the reason I'm pulling this up, I was in Miami with a trader. I showed her 5 mining stocks, and she was like, Jesus Christ, dude. She was trying to convince me to go into uranium. I'm like, why would I do that? That's a dumb, look at these. And she's like, my God. Yeah. And then she started saying, hey, why wouldn't you sell covered calls on micro strategy? I said, why wouldn't I want to buy them? Yeah. I don't understand selling them for the income. Do you?
Yeah, no, I don't. I always said last year that I would consider, I was waiting for the covered call strategy to come around because my background is, in the gold space and equities and everywhere else. You're using covered calls to generate an income. And it makes sense because, you've got a compound annual growth rate of 5 to 15%. So if you can make a 1% a month return, you're now pretty much doubling the return that you're getting from the asset, right? And the asset's not as volatile in order to do that. With Bitcoin and MSTR, it's like this. Let's look at Bitcoin particularly, right? And then you can extrapolate to MSTR. With Bitcoin, what you're doing is you're basically saying that I have $1 million in a JP Morgan Chase account with a 30% interest on a yearly basis, right? I'm receiving $300,000 on this $1 million every single year because that's the CAGR of Bitcoin, right? That's the CAGR that right now it's higher, but let's just say that's what it is over the next 20 years. 30% a year. I'm guaranteed $300,000 of income. Except now, when I'm considering doing covered calls, I now need to put up that savings account with that guaranteed $300K a year up for risk. So then the question is, how much more do I need to generate to make that risk worthwhile? What is the risk adjusted return that I need? And to me, it would be double. So now I need to make 60% a year in order to make it worthwhile. Now, in order to do 60% a year on a covered call, you need to come so close to the money that you now have a valid chance of losing that actual savings account. And that's my issue with it. That's why I would not do covered calls, and I will not do covered calls on these positions. Now, if we get into an extended bear market period and I can generate, 1% just by selling out the money covered calls, I may consider it. But at this moment in time, I'm not looking at it anymore. I used to think about it, but I think it's an inefficient way to look at the holdings that you have.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about the values right now? I mean, do you see you're very bullish MicroStrategy, right?
Yeah, and I wasn't, right? I wasn't because my paradigm, I started buying MicroStrategy the day after they announced the treasury move in 2020. And my opinion on it then was this is a de facto Bitcoin ETF, right? And that has been my perspective until this year, where I realized that the product's actually changed. The product is not a de facto Bitcoin ETF for retail anymore. It is a speculative platform built on the foundation of Bitcoin's volatility that institutional capital needs, and especially the bond market needs right now, because it can't get it from anywhere else. So when you look at it like that, the product's actually changed. So yes, I'm absolutely bullish on MicroStrategy now. I think that if Bitcoin gets to $1 million, you're looking at a $35,000 per share MicroStrategy target price for me at this point.
What would the ETFs do at that same level? Because the point
it would go 88 to $1 million, right?
Dollar for dollar change. See,
it's about double. It's about double.
Could you see the ETF starting outflow into MicroStrategy?
I think they're two different markets. I think they're two different. This is the thing that people aren't realizing, right? As retail, what we're looking at is these are competing.
I think
products.
MicroStrategy offers me as an investor a lot more optionality than an ETF.
I to a certain extent, yes, and especially if you are a bond. Look, there's $1 trillion a year bond market that has nothing else besides MicroStrategy to offer it the volatility that it's looking for, right? So forget the retail market, forget the equities market, forget the Bitcoin allocation. We're now looking at the bond traders going, you need volatility. They don't really care what the underlying asset is. All they care is that the underlying asset is providing the volatility for MicroStrategy to move around, which will allow them to trade those bonds. So they're going to be buying. That's why, you can issue 100% dilution on the stock, and the next day the stock goes up, because it was not about the underlying asset. It is not about the premium to NAV. It is not about, and by the way, it took me a while to understand this, because the offering has changed.
Yeah. Look, I've got to bounce this meeting, but if you would be up for maybe another player that's in the treasury convertible market, might be a really good hour-and-a-half kind of conversation to have on this whole trade.
100%.
Yeah, if you got some time, I think it would be a very good conversation, and to better understand how the convertibles are being used.
I've got the perfect guy for you. He's the guy that I put on my YouTube channel. His name is Ben Workman, I like
Ben. Yeah, if you can see what his time is, and then I'll work around y'all's schedule, but that would be a lot of fun. It'd be very educational for, I think, all the audiences and me. So
yeah, the fundamental thing that people are misunderstanding about MSTR, I'll say this in a minute, is they're looking at MSTR as a competing product to the Bitcoin ETFs, and it is not that. It has changed now, and you have to update your understanding.
I totally agree. British, thank you guys. You guys follow British. He's an awesome human being, straight up, no bullshit, which I love. And he says when he was wrong or had to question things. I hate listening to people that, they're the, hey, I picked every bottom and sold every top, and I just bought every damn option, and I know everything about everybody, and aren't I awesome? I don't like those people. I like guys like you. So thank you, bro. Really appreciate it. Yeah, be strong.
See you soon.
Guys, thank you very much. I've got to bounce here. I got 30 seconds. Doing a good job staying on track. British Hodl, love you guys, love him. See, here's another cat that I met through Bitcoin that I would never, ever have known before. Took us about 9 months to get to know each other well. I think we have a good communication. If we ever had any issues with each other, one of us would call each other, hey man, didn't like that, knock it off, whatever. Anyway, he's a great cat. Will be in my Rolodex for some time to come. You guys follow him, follow Sam. Do something nice for somebody today, whether you like doing it or not. In fact, when you don't like doing it, it's a better life hack, okay? When it's like, I really am miserable today, go fucking help somebody, all right? See you guys later. See you Sunday for church with Cardone. I got an awesome topic coming up. 10:30 Eastern, 3,000 people in that room last Sunday. I'd like to see 6,000 people in the room, okay? It's family friendly. It's about building wisdom, wealth, and freedom. To me, that is the greatest spiritual, religious freedom one could possibly have. It's what I search for when I go to church. So come join me in my little church on 10:30 Eastern time Sunday. See you guys later. I'm bouncing to the next meeting. Thank you.